The other day I was thinking about diseases in history, and toxoplasmosis came to mind because it's a really interesting one. If you're not aware of it, it's a parasite that crosses the blood-brain barrier and actually inhabits your brain. I always heard that it's where crazy cat lady syndrome comes from because it makes you really like cats. Turns out that's not true. Happens to mice. Also, I'm not a scientist by any stretch of the imagination, so none of this is exact. But basically, it's a parasite that can only reproduce inside of cat intestines and other feline intestines. And so in order to do that, it needs to be ingested by a cat. And so for that reason, its primary hosts are cat prey, like mice, rats, and other rodents. And humans actually used to be cat prey as well because lions and tigers would pretty regularly eat humans, but they don't do that as much anymore. So you get the parasite from cat feces that sometimes touches your food or your hands, or sometimes it's airborne. So once you ingest it, it goes into your bloodstream and crosses the blood-brain barrier and basically forms cysts in your brain that stay there forever. And with rodents, it rewires their entire amygdala, which is the fear center responsible for keeping them alive. And when they smell cat urine, instead of a fear signal, it sends them an arousal signal. So the rodents are actually attracted to the cats, and so instead of running away from the cats, they run towards the cats. This is what we call fatal attraction syndrome, but it actually doesn't happen in humans. But there are measurable changes in personality with people who have latent toxoplasmosis. There's an increase in risk-taking and impulsivity, and there's also a decrease in emotional regulation. It also affects your dopamine system, so it makes it harder for you to get reward signals from your brain after you accomplish things. This combination of low reward mixed with high risk-taking basically turns you into an aggressive go-getter, and so a lot of really famous entrepreneurs have latent toxoplasmosis. It also doubles your chance of developing schizophrenia later in life, and they say that 1 in 3 people have some sort of toxoplasmosis infection. And all of this has led some people to speculate about different historical figures that may have had latent toxoplasmosis. And Vincent van Gogh is one popular option because he developed schizophrenia and he was incredibly tortured, but he also loved cats. People have also guessed that Napoleon and King George III and Hitler might have had it, but really there's no way for us to know for sure. What we do know for sure is that it existed for thousands of years because we found Egyptian mummies with toxoplasmosis in their brains. If you're familiar with ancient Egyptian history, you know that cats were pampered to a level that not even crazy cat ladies can match. They made them jewelry, they painted murals, they were even worshipped as deities for a very large amount of time. Maybe there was a time before humans adapted past the fatal attraction syndrome. It could be that there was a time when the parasite used to affect us the same way that it still affects mice. And if that's the case, it could explain why the ancient Egyptians loved cats so much. But unfortunately, there's no way for us to find out for sure. So I'm curious to hear what you guys think.